good, Fit Fam? It's your girl, Natalie, the Keto Bikini Pro, and I am back with another Keto Bikini secret. Today, I want to talk about traveling while keto. This is like everybody's favorite topic. It's a question I get all the time, and it is, how can I travel and stay keto? How can I dine out and stay keto? So I'm going to actually cover both of those topics in this video. Traveling, dining out, being social, and maintaining your goals, especially on a prep. And this can work for anyone, whether you're on a bikini prep or you just have fitness, physique goals for yourself that you're trying to hit, which means you cannot go crazy eating all the things. Okay, so quick reminder, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when my new videos drop. Please show me some love, hit the like button, drop me a comment if you have any questions or comments or opinions about what I'm sharing here today, and let's get into it. Okay, so I just traveled the last couple days. I was in the car for 2 days, overnight, driving from Maryland to Atlanta, and I survived entirely on restaurant foods, snack foods, and I did it all carnivore, not even just keto, but carnivore. So, and then when I got here, I also celebrated. I went out to eat with family and friends, and I kept it mostly carnivore with a couple of little negligible carbs, so we'll call it ketovore, the last couple of days that I've been back in Atlanta. So I'm going to share all about how I did that, what I survived on, what I chose to consume, and what I recommend for traveling and dining out to stick to your goals, stick to your keto, and be happy and enjoy life and not feel deprived. So here we go. First things first, road tripping. I love road tripping more than I love air travel in regards to food because there's a lot more freedom. Excuse me. Yeah, so I didn't have to worry about airplanes and what I could bring on an airplane, and I could bring, effectively, if I wanted to, I could have brought a cooler with my meals. I did not do that. A lot of competitors do that. I will actually say that on keto and carnivore in particular, it's less necessary to do that. Not having the carbs in the equation, it's a whole lot easier to find foods that you can eat anywhere. So if you have been worried and thinking that I'd love to do keto, but I don't know what to eat when I dine out, it's actually, in my opinion, much easier to dine out on keto carnivore than it is when you're eating carbs. Competitors or anybody who eats carbs and they're trying to live healthy, and they have to worry about their fat content, because when you have higher carbs in your diet, you have less room for those fat macros. And typically competitors who use a standard American diet for their preps, they're cutting their fats pretty low. And that is a lot harder to do at restaurants than higher fat diets. So the fact is, all restaurants use oils. You're not always going to know what's in the food that's being prepared. So here's my quick tips for keto at restaurants. The restaurants, I care very much about quality. Not everybody does. You can do a ketogenic diet and eat on a budget and not worry so much about the meat quality and all of that, whether it's grass-fed, grass-finished, organic, and all of that. But what I will say is, if you care at all about your health, please do not consume vegetable oils. Canola oil, grapeseed oil, soy oil, corn oil, peanut oil. Terrible, terrible for your health. very inflammatory, cause oxidative stress in the body. If anything, even if you're not keto, I would highly recommend that be your very first thing to change. Change out your oils, only consume oils from animal fats. So you've got your butter if you can handle dairy. I play every once in a while with ghee because I can't handle dairy very well, sometimes not even ghee. Coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, and any other beef fats. Beef fat, any other animal fat. So beef fat, beef tallow, lamb tallow, leaf lard, which is pork fat, bacon grease. You can use, I think that pretty much covers the gamut. Macadamia oil is pretty good too. You want the olive oils and like the macadamia nut oil, if you're doing that, to be cold pressed and to use it drizzling on things. If you want to cook with it, I would say butter, ghee, lard, real lard, not Crisco crap. So oils, number one, when you're dining out, I have been known to tell them I am allergic to vegetable oils because a lot of the time, even the olive oils that they have are cut or mixed with vegetable oils. It's just cheaper. It's industrially processed and produced. They can get a lot more of it for a lot cheaper, so they're going to use that. So mind the oils, or you can ask them to cook without the oils. When you're choosing restaurants, if you have the option to choose restaurants and you're the decision maker, first of all, raise your voice if you're not the decision maker and ask for what you need. That could be a whole separate topic for a whole separate video. You have to become your own advocate. So that's the number one thing when you're going to a restaurant. They are there to serve you. They are cooking for you. You are paying for their service and for their food. So you have every right to ask for what you need. Ask for what is going to serve you best. Do not feel bad about ordering the way you need to order or about asking questions about the menu. This is your body. You only get one of them. So first and foremost, ask about the oils it's cooked in. Ask for it to be cooked in butter. A lot of the time they can do that if they can't do anything else. Or if you are able to choose where you're going, always choose somewhere you can get grilled meats. So anytime, you can go to most American restaurants have some sort of grilled meats on the menu, or a steakhouse, or, even the chain ones. Longhorn is one of the ones we frequent regularly. Texas Roadhouse is really great for grilled meats without anything on them. If you're ordering wings, if you're ordering ribs, if you're ordering anything like that typically comes with a sauce, I get my wings dry rubbed. Always get the dry rub, roasted if that's an option, or naked. So not breaded, not wet sauce, dry rubs. Same thing with wings. Same thing with ribs. I only get dry rubs on my ribs. Or if you can order, if you go to a barbecue restaurant in the South, you can get it without the sauce. They usually have the slow cooked pulled pork without the sauce. So avoid sauces like it's the plague. I don't ever do sauces at restaurants or anything that comes with a sauce. If you're tracking macros in particular, you can totally do this when you go to restaurants. You can ask them, how many ounces is the meat? And then when you're tracking it in your app, look for a cooked entry. You're not going to use the raw entry. You're going to use the cooked entry. So grilled chicken, look for an entry for that. Grilled, beef, cooked, grilled, whatever it is that you're ordering. So steaks are my go-to. Almost every restaurant, unless you're going to a vegetarian or a vegan restaurant, almost every restaurant has some sort of meat on the menu. So you can get the entree without the sides. They are going to look at you weird, like you're weird. It's perfectly okay. Tell them I do not want any sides. If they have a bacon as a side, great. The Venezuelan restaurant we went to last night had fried eggs as a side. That was my side. I was so thrilled to see that. If the sides are all carbs and veggies, You don't have to order a side at all. If you're doing keto, not carnivore, you can get a veggie side. I would once again ask them what it's cooked in. And you have every right to ask them to grill it without any oils. That will save you a lot of inflammation too. If you know, that's another thing. For me, it doesn't matter where I go to eat. Anything is cooked in is probably going to bother me. And so I definitely ask for that. There will always be some sort of meat on the menu. So meat and veggies, keep it simple. That's what keto is. If you're carnivore, meat only. If you can handle dairy and you want to get cheese on whatever it is, a burger with cheese and that's it, you can do that. You can ask for no bun on your burger. You can ask for, as we do now that I'm carnivore, just the patty, just the meat patty, or double patty with no bun, nothing else. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. There should be an option at every restaurant. And if there's not, which I'll put this challenge out there. Who has ever gone to a restaurant and had absolutely zero options? Put in the comments which restaurant it was, where you were. I will look up the menu and I will tell you what options I find. If it's something like, tell me where I can find it online, drop the link, or write what restaurant you went to. The only thing I could think of where maybe you wouldn't have any options at all is maybe you're in an ethnic, like an Indian restaurant and everything has sauce. Everything's a curry, you'd have to ask a lot more questions in that regard. Or you could do the best you can and get the meat, ask if they can do it without a sauce. If they can't, move the sauce off the meat and just try to eat as much of the meat by itself as you can. But most of the time those sauces are going to have sugars in them. So that's the only thing I can think of where I've done Japanese. I've done, my gosh, I'm thinking like I've done almost every ethnicity, every different type of food, and found something. So, okay, so that covers restaurant dining. Road tripping, when you're not taking a flight. I lived on, I actually went to breakfast at First Watch and just got my meats and eggs. And that was one of my days of travel. And then I went to a grocery store. I was thinking about going to a fast food restaurant, but I will say for me, fast food restaurant is always going to be the last thing on the list. In terms of food quality, in terms of the fact they're probably using oils, and I don't know what they're putting in those burgers. I just don't trust it. So it's the last thing I would do. I always look for a grocery store first, because you usually are going to have the best, fresh, healthy options without additives and things in grocery stores. So that's going to be first. If I can't do that, gas station convenience stores a lot of the time have more than you would think. Typically in a gas station convenience store, you can find hard-boiled eggs. If you're keto or ketovore, you could get pickles. If you're eating dairy, now I'm seeing some really incredible convenience stores that have a lot more options, and they have like roll-ups with salami and cheese, or different things like that. You can usually get pepperoni or some sort of cured meat. Once again, it's kind of at the bottom of the list for me. But I will tell you, one of my guilty pleasures, if you want to call it that, although I don't feel guilty eating it, is pork rinds. It is my absolute favorite carnivore snack on the go. So they have that at every gas station I've ever been to, every gas station convenience store. So pork rinds, I had that both days of my travel. And one day I went to a grocery store and got a rotisserie chicken. A whole rotisserie chicken. They didn't have like the pieces. If you can get the pieces, even better, because you could just get one serving. But I got the whole thing. It was the second leg of my trip, and I only had a couple more hours before I was home. So I just got the whole thing. I ate the wings, the legs, some of the breast, and then I brought the rest home. So I have that actually here to have leftovers, which is also very economical. $5 for a whole rotisserie chicken, and I'm going to get a few meals out of that. So you could do fast food and do like just a burger patty or grilled chicken or just the meat at any fast food restaurant if you don't care as much about quality. That is an option too. What else did I do? Did I do anything else? I think that was about it. I always bring my shaker bottle with my protein powder, and I always have water with me in the car and my electrolytes. So water, electrolytes, protein shake, my pork rinds. I did the rotisserie chicken. I think that's it that I can remember. I'm going to go back through my photos and see if I can add a little slideshow at the end of this to show you some of my go-tos for traveling. I did recently try a new one of those beef chips. They're like beef crisps, and those were really good. So those are another option. If you do carnivore crisps, I've tried those. Those are really good. And biltong is another one I typically take with me on my trips, is a package or two of biltong, which I like better than jerky. I'm not a jerky fan, and it's very difficult to find good jerky that doesn't have any sugar added. They do have some, but I'm just not a fan of the texture of jerky, so I like biltong better. It is thinner, it is usually a little crispier, not as chewy. And then the Chomps or the other brands of meat sticks, Epic, things like that. That's another thing I usually take with me on a trip. And then of course my keto coffee. So this time I brought my MCT oil with me, my protein powder, all the things I use in my coffee. So that sustained me for a while too. And then of course, I'm just going to end it here because this could go on and on for days. But fasting is always an option, especially once you've gotten fat adapted. So if you've been on keto for a while, if you've been strict on keto long enough that your body is efficient with burning fat and ketones for fuel, you'll just hum along. If you have a 5-hour, like my road trip was only 5 to 6 hours each day. I could have just chose to fast the whole time. I could have had a meal before I left and had a meal when I got to my destination, and not had to stop for anything, except probably to pee, because I would probably be drinking a lot of water. So yeah, fasting is, and I would say for your travel, when you're for air flight, for air travel, whenever you're traveling on a plane, you can make some food ahead, freeze it, put it in your checked baggage or even your carry-on. As long as it's not liquid, you're fine. So I always bring a water bottle with me. Usually a smaller one when I'm traveling on a plane, but I bring a water bottle with me empty, and then once I go through security, I fill it at the airport. I have my electrolytes with me. I bring protein powder with me on the plane. I have been stopped at security every single time. Last time they even pulled out the swabs to check the powder to make sure it was all good. They took out my electrolytes, all the stuff, and tested it. Just give yourself extra time, because you'll probably get stopped with supplements, but I always bring my supplements. And then the biltong or the jerky, the meat sticks, those are all good things that travel well. And I like them, but they're not trigger foods. They're not going to be like, oh, because I have it, I'm going to eat it because I can't help myself because it tastes so good. Like, I like them enough to where they'll get me through if I'm really hungry, but I'm not going to be just reaching and just snacking for no reason with those. Whereas when I was eating nuts and seeds, like pumpkin seeds, almonds, macadamia nuts, oh God, like I'd eat it because it's there, because it's so good, and then I would end up over my macros. So if you're on keto and you're doing a lot of nuts and you're not making progress, I would highly recommend taking them out for a little while and see how you do. It's just way too easy to overdo it with nuts. I'm now rambling and going into all kinds of things, but you have lots of options. At the end of the day, what I'm really trying to get at with this video is your health and your goals, what you want to look like. If you're doing it for health, if you're doing it purely for aesthetics, no judgment. Vanity is a great goal. Keeps you on track sometimes. There is no reason that you can't do it. This up here in your mind is the only reason. You're the only thing stopping you. So if you find yourself going out to eat or traveling and saying, oh, I just couldn't help it, there was no option, I had to eat the pasta and the garlic bread and the chocolate and the cake and the this and the that, you didn't have to. You chose to. Own that decision and move forward. I chose to have a glass of wine on Saturday night when I was out with my friends for my birthday dinner. I hadn't had a glass of wine in 8 to 10 months. I chose to have that glass of wine in that moment because that's what I wanted. I'm not going to say, oh, I didn't have any, choice. I had to drink the wine. They were pressuring me. Nobody was pressuring me. And matter of fact, they would have been very impressed if I had chosen not to. So, which I've done many times, going out and not having drinks. Nobody said anything last night when I went out to dinner with my family and didn't have a drink. So it's in your head. If you're thinking that people are judging you, if you're thinking that you have to eat a certain way because other people are watching you, I'll tell you what, if you stick to your guns and you are disciplined and committed and you stay focused and you eat according to the way that you know you need to eat to reach your goals, not only will people stop hounding you about it if they have been, if you have a lot of food pushers in your life, you're teaching them through your discipline to take you seriously. So I'll tell you what, over the years when I first started this lifestyle, and I'll never forget, I was super strict for 3 months at the very beginning, 10 years ago when I went paleo. It wasn't even keto yet. And people just started watching the way I was doing things. And after a little while, especially after I had my transformation, they wanted to know how and why and what was I doing. They would wait for me to order to make their decisions about what they were going to order. So people are watching you, but they're not watching you to judge you. At first, they may not be on board and they may be pressuring you because it makes them feel insecure about what they're choosing, because they're having to look at their own choices in light of your choices. That's where it's coming from. It's from them. It's nothing about you. So if you stick to your guns long enough and you continue to live the lifestyle that you chose despite your surroundings, no matter where you are, people will respect you for it and they'll start coming to you for advice. So I'll end it there and just say, be your own advocate. When you go to restaurants, when you're traveling, when you're with friends, it doesn't have to be any different than it would be on a regular day for you. Live your life according to who you want to be and what you want out of life, and others will follow suit or shut up and get out of your way, one or the other. All right. If you have any questions about traveling while keto, dining out, if anything I said sparked anything and you want to know more, or you totally disagree with me on something, drop me a comment, let me know, and we can have some healthy debate, or I'll answer your questions in a future video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon so you can find out when my next video goes live, and I will see you in my next Keto Bikini Secrets. Until next time.